very much, and yeah, pleasure to be back at the PDA to provide an update on North Arrow and the work we've been doing on our diamond exploration projects in Canada. In particular, I'm going to be talking about some of the work that we want to do over the next few years, so certainly we'll be making some forward-looking statements. Quickly, just a corporate snapshot. We currently sit with about 93 million shares outstanding. The warrants we have outstanding at about 26 million mostly sit with a group of key shareholders that are listed at the bottom of this slide, and obviously a key part of any junior company's structure is having a strong supporter base of dedicated investors. And then I just point out on the working capital side, these numbers are from our last public statements, which were in October. We started this month with a little over $600,000 for moving forward at the moment. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the background of everybody involved with the company. Corporately, we're a group of professionals that have had success in finding, evaluating, and developing diamond deposits in North America and in Africa. So we have the ability to and the understanding in moving these projects forward. This is a slide that I debuted here last year, and I think it's still relevant just to point out a couple of things. All the diamonds that you see on this map are the known kimberlite fields in North America. The yellow diamonds would be the kimberlite fields that were discovered sort of after 1981, but really through that key period of diamond exploration activity through the 90s and the 2000s. So it would include all of the kimberlites that are currently in production and the past producers in Canada as well. But from 2013 onwards, which is when North Arrow entered the game as a diamond-focused exploration company, there's been 6 new kimberlite fields discovered. 4 of those were found by producers, by De Beers, by Rio. Stornoway found 2 of them, and then two other discoveries were made by North Arrow. Piku in Saskatchewan, and then more recently our Melville Peninsula discovery on our Mel project that we made in 2017. So we're the only junior company over the last 6 years to have made new discoveries of kimberlite fields in North America. And as a result, you can see with our project portfolio, it really is focused on discovery stage type projects. Our most advanced project is Naujaat, and I'm going to spend a fair bit of time talking about that. But all the green pins are our discovery stage projects. They include the Mel project. As I mentioned, we discovered kimberlite there in 2017. We drilled it again this past summer, found more kimberlite, and there certainly are more discoveries to be made on that project. We have 2 projects in the Lac de Gras area of the Northwest Territories. At Loki, last spring, we made a discovery of kimberlite, we call it 465. At the time it was discovered, it was the first new discovery of a kimberlite in the Lac de Gras field in over 5 years. Subsequent to that, Dominion made a discovery as well, and I think that just underscores the fact that there are discoveries still to be made in the Lac de Gras region. We're working with Dominion on our LDG joint venture, which is immediately south of the Diavik mine. Dominion will be funding a $2.8 million drilling program there this spring. And then, of course, our Piku discovery in Saskatchewan, where we've actually expanded our land position this year by staking more ground as some of the claims that were staked around us when we first made that discovery came open, and we've acquired some of that ground as well. Going forward, I just want to highlight primarily in this talk the fact that Naujaat remains our most compelling project. It is the most advanced. It's located up on the Melville Peninsula, immediately north of a community called Naujaat. It used to be called Repulse Bay. This is a slide I've shown a few times as well in the past, and it still remains relevant because the project, it hits a lot of the right notes that you want to see for a more advanced project, particularly in North America. We're in a jurisdiction in Nunavut where you can permit a mine. Evidence of that is Agnico Eagle just announced pouring their first gold bar at the Meliadine gold mine. There's been 4 mines permitted in Nunavut in the last 10 years. This project, you can see the Q124 kimberlite, is that sort of green blob. It's about 7 kilometers north of our laydown, which is immediately north of the hamlet. We're essentially on tidewater, which we think, compared to the NWT diamond mines, our freight costs just to get stuff there to do things would be about half of what the costs are to work at the NWT mines. The kimberlite itself is large. It's over 12 hectares in size. Our resource right now is 48 million tons down to 200 meters depth, and I think that's a critical thing just to keep in mind. I'll show you another slide that I think helps get that point across as well. That leads to a low overall strip ratio because all of our tonnage is in one deposit, and it's a significant inventory of diamonds. And it's only one of it's one of 16 known kimberlites in the belt that need to be fully evaluated. So ongoing evaluation of this deposit is really hinges on what we think is a value proposition that we see in a population of orangey yellow diamonds that are in this deposit. The one thing that has changed on this slide that is quite important is that red squiggly line. That's an access trail or a road that the community of Naujaat is going to be constructing starting this summer. It's going to give us much better access to the kimberlite. It will lower our cost of exploration, and I'll chat about that a little bit later on as well. So just setting the stage for where the project's at. In 2015, we had a parcel of 384 carats valued. We ended up with a model price range of between $43 and $92 a carat. That was low, and at that price range, this project won't work. But it's important to note the number one conclusion of that valuation was the fact that the parcel was too small to properly value, and the yellow diamonds that are part of the population weren't considered particularly interesting. So we then started some work to say, well, we know we can collect more carats, but are these diamonds interesting or not? And we started that with a cutting and polishing exercise that took a couple of years. It was a staged process, but the results of that were unequivocally successful. These diamonds are beautiful, the colors hold up under polishing, the diamonds are certifiable. We've had them certified at the GIA as fancy, vivid, yellow and orange yellow diamonds. They're worth a premium price. We've shown these diamonds to high-end fashion members of the jewelry trade and jewelry makers. They would use these diamonds. So we've answered that question. These diamonds are desirable and they're valuable. We also did work to look at the nitrogen aggregation characteristics of the diamonds, and the point of that and the result of that work was to show that the yellow diamonds are truly distinct from the white diamonds in this deposit. They're totally different populations, so therefore it makes sense to actually evaluate the yellow diamonds separately from the white diamonds. And when we do that, we see that the yellow diamonds have a much coarser size distribution than the white diamond parcel. So that'd be the red line that we see on this slide. And what that implies is if we have a coarser distribution, then at some point we have the potential to see a higher abundance of these yellow diamonds in the coarser sizes. And if we were to marry that outcome with this coarser size distribution, if we apply the 2015 diamond valuation to it, it totally changes the perspective on the diamond value of this deposit. It changes it from that $43 to $92 a carat up to $60 to over $200 a carat. And that's huge. At over $200 a carat, this project makes a ton of sense. You can just think of the diamond inventory that's there in the ground, and this project is going to work. And that exercise, this is really important to keep in mind, it doesn't even take into account the fact that these yellow diamonds are valuable and they're worth more than they're given credit for in that valuation. So we need to move forward with this project. Just setting the stage for that, we need to collect a bigger sample. This is an air photo of the outline of the kimberlite. Most of it is on land, and just trying to get across here again that it's big. It's over 200 meters wide at this one area, about 700 meters long. The other arm of the body is about the same length. At depth, I talked about that with our current resource, which is down to 200 meters, and that's 48 million tons. Down to 300 meters is a target for further exploration, which could add in the neighborhood of another 15 or so million tons. And then these are just two examples of drill holes from a couple of years ago where we stayed in kimberlite for over 100 meters beyond the existing geological model. So it's a big kimberlite. When it comes to collecting a 10,000 ton sample, we want to take advantage of the access road that the hamlet is going to build to collect this sample, and the goal of it is going to be to confirm the coarse size frequency distribution of this kimberlite and the value upside in those yellow diamonds. So we take advantage of that access trail to lower our costs for the collection of that sample. It also allows us to look at processing the sample at site. For processing as we're collecting, it takes away the time lag, the long time lag that we see with the collection of such large samples. And we're also looking at more innovative flow sheet options for processing the diamonds. And really innovative is kind of a fancy way to look at. We're looking at the whole point of this is to find out the value of the coarser stones. So we're really going to look at a coarser bottom size cutoff and just get the diamonds that are, say, a half carat and above, get a value on those. In this room, we could probably come up with a valuation for the smaller diamonds, and it's not going to make or break this project one way or the other. Let's focus on getting the big stones and figuring out if they have the value that we think could be there. I just want to make a couple of comments on the road. It's a community-led initiative. It's something that we've talked to them about, but the hamlet has a number of economic opportunities that they'd like to develop. The evaluation of our deposit is one of them. The deposit sits within the municipality of the hamlet. So the hamlet is taking the lead on this. They put in an application to have this road constructed. They submitted an application for funding from the federal government on Friday, and there's a number of other pools of money that are available for northern communities to help try and make some inroads on the infrastructure gaps that we see in these northern communities that can actually lead to economic diversification and in the development of more opportunities for the community. So this is a truly collaborative effort that we're looking at. The timeline, as I mentioned, for the start of that road will be in this coming summer, and that should lead to us being able to collect our bulk sample in the summer of 2020. So with that road being in place, we'd be able to just build a little spur road about 1 kilometer long, take advantage of the free digging characteristics of this kimberlite. It's a very simple process. We were able to dig this kimberlite, no drilling, no blasting is required, just with a simple frost pick, we're able to rip it. There's a couple of photos here of our laydown area just north of the quarry, which is just north of town, and that's where we'd look to be staging our work. Just a couple of slides really quickly on our MEL project. It was our most important project in 2018. It was a new discovery in 2017. We conducted a drilling program. Here you can see at the south end of this map is Naujaat. It's the hamlet and where Q1-4 sits, and then you can see where the MEL project is located to the northeast of there. It was a prospecting discovery that we made in 2017. We drilled it this year. We found a couple of more kimberlites. It's very early days with this, but I just want to get across that the mantle sample in this kimberlite is really impressive. It's coarse, and we see that reflected in the initial diamond results that we've got back. Real potential for a coarser size distribution. So very early days for MEL. Nothing is really close when it comes to Nunavut, but there's synergies here. We're not too far from where we're working at Naujaat, and we can continue to advance the evaluation of all of these projects. So I think the key thing I just want to leave you with is when we look at some of the changes that have happened in the Canadian diamond exploration space over the last year, we've seen Chidliak purchased by De Beers, Kennedy's been reabsorbed by Mountain Province. We're going to hear from George and the collaboration that they have with Rio Tinto at Fort Isle Corn. Naujaat in Q1-4 is the largest, most advanced project outside of those 3 deposits in Canada that sits within a junior company. And it's a company that's had a lot of success over the last half dozen years finding new kimberlite fields, which are very difficult to find. They don't happen, those discoveries don't happen often. We've been finding kimberlites in established fields like at Lac de Gras, and we're going to continue to advance and move forward with those exploration stage projects, but our real focus right now is really working with the hamlet at Naujaat and looking at the evaluation of Q1-4. So I'll leave it at that and answer any questions.
Thank you so much.
Our booth is 27.